Welcome, everybody, to End of Life Conversations Weekly Dispatch. I am Sam Zemke, your editor and firekeeper today. Let's call it that.
Yes, the firekeeper.
Yeah, I'm the
Ooh,
firekeeper today.
I
I've
like
got
I
a little
love that.
candle.
Ah,
And speaking of fire, first, let's just acknowledge the fires around the world that
Yeah.
are causing untold death, destruction,
suffering.
change. Wakil, you were mentioning just before that your kids who are farming can't farm
Yeah.
right now because of the smoke.
Yeah.
And to farm in full respirators is a uniquely dystopian reality that we
Isn't it?
now face.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And new normal. I mean,
New normal.
I grew up in this part in Seattle area. We never saw anything like we've seen in the last every year, the last 3 or 4 years. There's been at least a few days where it's unhealthy to be outside from forest fires, and that's just a new normal. Not a good normal, but it's the way the world
The new
is.
normal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good thing to acknowledge first off.
Yeah, but also sort of a red herring because that's not what we're diving into today. We're talking about a different kind of fire in the mountains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fire in the Mountains that we're talking about today is a music festival that I've been going to for many years. Started out in outside of Teton
Missoula?
National Park.
Oh.
Teton National Park, just south, and outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I haven't been going from the beginning, but the main sort of impetus was enjoying heavy music and ecology at the same time.
Yeah.
So there is connection here because it is an environmentally centered music festival.
Yeah.
And part of what has grown out of that, especially now, is the capacity for heavy music to aid in the grief process, the healing process, catharsis, and understanding that one is not alone in the difficult feelings of life. And currently, this festival is happening this coming weekend.
Late July, right?
Yep. Whatever that date is. I'm not looking at it. Click around.
24th, maybe? 24th,
the 24th through the 26th, 27th.
Of July. Yeah.
It is now hosted on the Blackfeet Reservation in East Glacier, Montana. And that process of partnering with the Blackfeet Nation has shifted and expanded this project in a way that absolutely makes sense given the trajectory that started. You get a bunch of emotionally intelligent metalheads who are ritually oriented, ecologically oriented, and countercultural, and you're very likely going to start dialogue with Indigenous peoples and counter to maybe the prevailing narrative or a historical trend of heavy metal being associated with, say, like nationalist movements and white supremacy. That's shifting in a really huge way.
Oh, good.
And in many ways has become much more decolonial and liberatory, which I think makes a lot of sense and is great because I like that music and I love not having to look up as diligently every band I listen to make sure that they're not Nazis.
That's right. That's right.
So
always an important thing to check. Yeah.
Always
with everything, all of our movies and everything these days. I'm like,
Right. And so in this partnership with the Blackfeet Nation, um, arose a nonprofit that the festival folks and the community members they were talking with, and some Scandinavian nonprofits
Hmm.
that were partnering to help support this festival. And they have created a nonprofit called the Firekeeper Alliance,
Huh.
which is focused on mental health and suicide prevention on the reservations, because that is a
Oh,
huge, huge issue.
Huge.
wow. That's
Yeah.
so important.
And particularly youth suicide prevention.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is through music programs. They're having well-renowned heavy metal musicians come to the schools and do music programming.
Mhm.
Last year, they had internships in almost every position at the festival where local youth were shadowing and interning and learning the tools of the trade and seeing what it could be like to have uh, vital, enlivening, and active things going on in their community.
Nice.
Really, really beautiful project.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can find out more information about that at firekeeperalliance.org and donate to them, which I would encourage everyone to do.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
add that to our notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have all the amazing information there, their approaches. I'll just read off a little bit. Indigenize clinical constructs regarding suicidal distress, traditional healing practices, strengths-based counseling interventions, creative outlets and protective factors, clinical support and professional development, and culturally inclusive post-vention initiatives. And that's just, those are the headlines.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't really know where the dialogue comes from here today with us, but it felt really important to, one, shout out this project
Mm-hmm.
that I deeply, deeply believe in,
Yeah.
and especially last year, which was the first year on the
reservation.
reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was there this focus on grief, they do workshops during the day, and there were panels about, people, survivors of suicide, survivors of like friends who had committed suicide, and how music had helped them process, and how music had helped them avoid their own um, uh, terminal impulses.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about cultural revival, cultural connection as medicine to stave off that level of despair. And then massive levels of cultural exchange.
Yeah.
You have all of these white metalheads and like Scandinavian people, like neo-folk, neo-pagan folk musicians coming and doing ceremony and exchanging gifts across cultural boundaries. Amazing, amazing work to knit communities together.
Yeah.
To expand, cultural connections, kinship relations, and just like support networks. Just amazing. I can't laud it enough. So
Well,
I have talked. Yeah,
I'm
please
gonna
go ahead.
jump in because I've
Please.
just been listening to you, and I want to go do this next year with you because I would love to experience this. And I also want to acknowledge that there are so many deaths that occur on a daily basis in our world, and when we think that we're not intersecting with death on the daily, like, then we're not really having our eyes open.
Yeah.
And the fact that we do have a high statistical rate of suicide on reservations, but everywhere, right? Like, people are having a hard time for a myriad of reasons. So I would hope that people can hear this podcast and think about the different communities that they know or interact with, and be on the lookout for how can I help out with these
Yeah.
conversations with youth, with LGBTQ, POC, poverty. Like there's so many disabled people who are just so fed up with these things. We have so much community right around us who, like, we need Fire in the Mountains, a music
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
that we could just like dance until we have all that grief just kind of like out for the collective container to like witness and figure out a way to compost, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
so I hope people get curious and write us about other events that are similar to this, because this
Yeah.
isn't the only one. This is just
Right.
like a cool one for
That's
for
pretty
some
cool.
of us. Yeah.
For some of us, yeah.
But yeah, so please, if you know of a different one, let us
Let
know.
us
We can
know.
put it on
Yeah.
our resources.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and
Exactly.
especially
We should
like the
definitely add this one to
more,
it. Yeah.
yeah, the
Mhm.
more unconventional, like maybe
Yeah.
not the better, but like
It's so
not a
important.
lot of people,
Yeah. Those are the
when
ones
you
that need to
say
be
like
served.
heavy metal helps my mental health, people
Mhm.
go,
Right.
I'm in a ministry training
Right.
currently, learning,
Yeah.
to do
Right.
um Shirag Sufi ministry, and studying with one of the preeminent sort of Sufi oriented grief counselors and funeral directors. And I said, this is a thing where, I can engage with the crunchy shadow,
Mhm.
side of things. And he went, I cannot relate with you at all, any way, shape,
Yeah.
or form. And so I made, in that process, made a playlist of some music to share with my cohort in
I
this.
love it. I
I
love
wrote
it.
down some music after you told me about this months ago. I actually went through and listened to clips, and in
Yeah.
my little notebook I have my little list that I want to actually create a playlist for. So maybe I'll do it this weekend to
Wonderful.
pretend I'm there.
Yeah.
That would be fun. There are some playlists on whatever
On
streaming
the
service
website.
you use.
Yeah.
No, I think through the streaming services, if you
Okay.
search FITM 2026, it'll have some samples
Oh,
Spotify.
good.
Send that to me so I can put it in the notes.
Yeah.
in the
Tell
show
me, tell me
notes.
the FIT. What's the
Fire in the Mountain.
website again? Fire.
The website is fitmfest.com or firekeeperalliance.org.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the two.
Okay, we'll put both those in. But yeah, if you if you want to send me a list of a connection to a playlist, that would be fun to put in there for folks. So
it would be fun, and I realize that heavy metal is not everybody. Like it's not for everybody, and that's okay too. There's no judgment, and you don't have to like this. But if you have a kid who might be interested, or an elder who's like, I used to dig this music in the 70s. I actually went hiking recently, about 2 months ago, and I happened to notice somebody was wearing like a Leonard Skinner or something t-shirt. I don't remember, actually. Don't quote me on that one, but I mentioned I mentioned Fire in the Mountain, and I have to tell you, very white presenting, brawny kind of dude hiking by himself with his t-shirt, and I was like, I want to connect with you about music. Because, and my friend he's like, I would never imagine you would even like strike a conversation with that dude. And I was like, true. And what I want to have recognized is that it's not just white men who like this music.
Absolutely.
And, and I want him to always think like, oh, like this brown woman also, we could talk about this music. So it's part of relationship building, right? Like in the world, because I don't want there to be like, there's no way a white Latina could possibly enjoy this music, which is like the furthest from the truth.
Right.
But what I really enjoyed is that one of his initial statements was like, no good, metal music is being made anymore. And I was like, excuse me. And I said this, so forgive me, but I was like, are you some kind of a boomer? I was like, what is your problem? I know.
I resemble that statement.
I agree. I know. But he was like in his like early 30s. And I was like, boomers tend to not want to hear anything different and say that the only good stuff is from their formative years. I'm like, if that's your languaging, I was like, then you must be really old. And he's like, no. I was like, well, then I think you should probably explore some new music, my dude.
Yeah.
So, so it was a both in like connecting and like be curious, because honestly, when you're curious, you learn more things, and hopefully you become less like stilted and constricted and like no, no, no,
Rigid.
you know. So,
Yeah, yeah.
anyways, I'm excited.
It's also a lesson about not making assumptions, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, for me or
Yeah.
for him?
Well, for you, or for anybody, but I mean, this happened yesterday. We were doing our booth. We have a grief booth that we do at a farmer's market, and we were doing the booth, and this guy walks by, and he's like, I won't talk about what he looked like or what it was, but it was just like the last person I would have expected to turn around and go, I have a story I want to share with you guys. And it
Uh-huh.
just blew my mind. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, don't assume
Don't
anything,
assume.
Yeah.
Well, the
So,
assumption that wasn't an assumption when he said good metal isn't being made anymore. Then I was
yeah.
like, that is such an old fogey kind of attitude. Like,
Right.
I didn't have to say boomer. I just had to say like, how old are you, man? Because that is not that's not what young people say. We're always like on the lookout for like, what's new? What's spicy out there?
And
Anyhow,
some of us boomers are too, dang it.
I know, babes.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
I
I
mean,
know.
yeah. No assumptions. That's the lesson, right? And we have elders in this community.
Mhm.
There are people from like the first and second generations of black metal who are like
Cool.
here supporting. We have one of my friends likes to tell a dad joke that one of them told him. And that guy brought
Sure
his little
sign.
synth setup and said, I'm going to play my weird synthetic experimental music for you today, and I hope you have a really good time. And it was a blast.
Love it.
So another thing I would say briefly, it's not just metal, but it is focused on like the heavier side of things. This year there's a huge focus on sort of like dark country and dark Americana.
What?
Cool.
So there's a reunion of a classic band called 16 Horsepower.
Oh yeah.
I actually and a bunch of other bands like that will be
Cool.
playing. Last year it was very like neo folk focused. So it rotates through, and because it was just great for me because I get tired of black metal after a while. I'll admit this, it's not my
you take
favorite
a dose
thing.
and then you're like,
I take
okay.
a dose. Or, it's on the Two Medicine Lake sacred space, and there's like 100 yards of forest in between the stages and the lake. And when I get my dose, I go sit in the lake, and it sounds phenomenal from that far away.
Yeah.
But the other thing, what I wanted to talk about, or what I was inspired by when Ana Luisa, you were talking about, it's not just something that like white Americans or Eurodescent people like. One of the huge pieces of this festival is spotlighting people of color. And last year they flew in a band called Zompantli, which is a Mesoamerican death metal band from South America or Central America. This year there's another one. They spotlight a lot of native metal bands, which is a growing genre. And what that says to me, and I love world music, and so I explore where around the world these genres are blossoming. And I think similar to hip hop and rap, metal provides a really unique way to process what's going on, and becomes sort of a universal language that can incorporate the cultural qualities and specificities and unique experiences from different places. And that also provides a common language for people to relate and connect and process together and see reflected experience in, like, it's not just like, I see these other people that look like me who are experiencing the same feelings.
Yeah.
It's also like people around the world.
Yeah.
Right. Cross-pollination. Yeah.
All of these people feel the heaviness of the world and express it in a common language with different accents.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's really wonderful too that you're talking about. Did you say Swiss people, or no, Scandinavian people,
various places.
because that's yet another indigenous likely connection to the indigenous. There's many of us who live in the United States now, and so I love that that's a part of it too. And probably, as you say, it is worldwide, and it does go down to that very deep cultural connection in every one of us to our grief for the world, our grief for losses in general, and
Right.
and another way to express that. I love it.
Yeah,
So
I
thank
do
you
too.
for bringing that to us.
Yeah,
Bring
and that was
pictures.
a yes. that was a whole part of the dialogue last year, and part of what helped me feel like, oh, this is a place where my particular desire in ministry and cultural reconstruction and utilizing ancestral connection to build those connections and subvert white supremacism and white supremacist systems, not only in the community but more broadly too.
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to a podcast about um, the German Volkisch movement during the Nazi era, and how those folks became really obsessed with how the Germanic tribes had successfully fought off the Roman Empire. But instead of taking that opportunity to say, look, we can be in solidarity and we connect with peoples around the world who have been resisting colonization and imperialist control, they said, yeah, but we'd actually rather become the Roman Empire. So there's a total missed opportunity to connect with the rest of the world. And I see it functioning in that way when we recognize that there are places where all of us at some point in our genetic lineage, in the love that has created our ancestors and our bodies, there is an understanding, a shared understanding of being part of the planet, being part of the cycles of life and death, being not apart, and and I think that's such a powerful medicine.
Yeah, I love it. I love this just as another example of you can get there from many, many directions, right?
That's
as long as you get
Yep.
there.
Yep, as long as you're on your journey.
Thank you, Sam. That was really, really cool, really important.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to everybody check it out, even if you're a boomer.
Yep.
Even if you're
Oh,
a boomer.
come on, not even. Everyone. If you won't check it out, you're a boomer.
No labels.
I'm kidding.
There's probably
I know.
still, if you listen to this today and you go, damn, I really want to go to this, I'm pretty sure there are still tickets.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, I love
And
it.
if not
I
this
love
year,
for next
go
year.
Next year, I'll meet you there.
Lisa's going, so
I'm going next year.
Go
I have tickets to the Underground Music Showcase this year, so I will be 3 days of musicking myself this weekend.
Hey, all right.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, everybody, thanks for watching and participating with us. Please check in with us on our Substack, subscribe on Substack, and we have a chat going on, ongoing chat there. Please come on, tell us what you think and what you'd like to talk about, and like us and tell all your friends. And thanks again. See you next time.
Yeah,
Adios.
Adios.
Conversations about the end of life.